but he's out. The intro stopped working, so we came on. Joe and Mike here again from buildassetsonline.com. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how we lost over $10,000 drop shipping. And we actually got a comment before the stream even started from Dion, who said, I bet this is going to be about low ticket. Well, it's not going to be about low ticket, so...
Should change the title to say from high ticket drop shipping.
I should. I will change the title after this, but sounds good to me. Hope you all are hearing everything okay. But very few people on the stream right now, but they should be gathering in. Yeah, let's get right to it, Mike. Let's talk about it, and we don't have a deck prepared this time, so we'll just field questions from the chat as we go along. Okay.
I'm ready to field.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Now, when we started high ticket dropshipping, we started with a humble business account with $3,000, maybe $2,000. I don't remember the exact amount. And since then, it's grown into a lot bigger. And the way we do things is we're not in there monitoring every transaction, every thing that happens, every return. We kind of just trust in good faith that when the suppliers aren't double charging us, they're issuing us refunds when we're due to be issued refunds. And at first we weren't really, maybe we were checking at first because it was such few transactions, but as it ballooned and then you log into the credit card and you see 100 transactions from the same supplier, it becomes hard to monitor, to say the least. So over time, now we're a bit ahead and we're no longer at that humble $3,000 in the bank account. And, we see the bank account going up. Everything's working well. We're not tracking everything to a T. But over time, we have a situation where all these refunds, at least this is what we know about so far, we've had a huge ballooning of suppliers, or actually it's multiple suppliers. I was going to say it's a particular one, but it's not giving us the refunds that were due. And we started checking this. I think we've done 3 months of checking starting in the middle of 2020. And we're already at over $15,000 in refunds that were due.
Yeah, I just got a check in the mail for $2,700 from a particular company who owes us. And yeah, how many months is that, Joe? 3 months?
I think 3 months we have a VA doing the analysis of it.
Yeah, we could have made this headline a lot more eye-popping. But yeah, $15,000 in 3 months from improperly done refunds or supplier issues or what have you. And yeah, let's talk about it, Joe. So accounting, how do we do it?
Well, if you guys remember, if you watched the stream with Braden from a month ago or so, he's one of the one he bought our high ticket dropshipping store, bought 2 of our stores actually, and he's very good at operations. So he had someone that was checking, reconciling. So there's a couple levels of accounting that need to happen when you have a high ticket dropshipping store. And when we got into this, so up until recently, and I would argue, it's not as nearly as bad as it used to be, but up until recently, we were just struggling with that first layer of accounting, which was for taxes, which is making sure that, you're categorizing things correctly, and then you could show your accountant, hey, this is what we did, and this is advertising, this is cost of goods sold. So that, was a learning curve in itself. But we recently learned there's another layer to it, which is actually reconciling the orders with your credit card statement and with the suppliers. So that's really what needs to happen. So you not only have to do the tax stuff to give to Uncle Sam, because they need to see your books or they need to know roughly what happened, but we need to do this for your own business as well. And it's almost 2 completely different things.
So how many layers are there, Joe, of accounting?
2, I think.
Okay. I thought you said 3 in the beginning, but I could be wrong. So yeah, I mean, when we found that first layer, it's not like we didn't know about these. We just didn't really consider them to be. I don't know. You get into this. You want to make a sale. You want to make $100. You want to make 2,000 bucks a month, whatever. And now all of a sudden, you're owning and operating 5 stores. They're bringing in hundreds of sales a month, and now you have to start thinking about, wow, accounting really matters. And so you sort of get into the weeds of, yeah, like the high level accounting of categorizations. And then we hired a bookkeeper. And, I think that was very helpful. And it allows us to kind of keep a 100-foot view of what's going on. For all intents and purposes, that helps. That works just fine because you can see the basic ins and outs of the business. And so as long as you can get basic ins and outs, you can kind of keep a pulse of what's happening. But with dropshipping, because of the business model that it is, it's inherently messy. People want to automate everything. And Joe and I, we just got off a call with one of my old friends, and he was talking about how he does these jobs in Airtable, and everyone wants to do these insane automation projects. And I don't really buy into that type of thought because any sort of automation, there needs to be humans involved no matter what. And especially with dropshipping, it's not that we're the humans involved and we're the main problems. The main problems are typically the suppliers because every single supplier is different. They have their own processes. They have their own level of competence. They have their own products. So you're basically dealing with just dozens and dozens of different businesses once you're doing this at a high level. And there's really no way to know what's going on unless you're actually tracking every single transaction. So that's, when Braden brought up that he was doing that, I think we had to kind of stop and say, maybe let's, check and make sure that this isn't, we're not having any issues inside of our accounts because I had suspected that this, could very well be happening.
Yeah, well, it started, I think, with your suspicions of saying like, hey,
yeah.
something's not right here. Like, look, it's not like in 2020 that as a business we lost money because that definitely did not happen. In fact, we made the most money that we've ever made in a year in 2020. I hope that didn't sound too full of hubris or something.
Sounded great.
But yeah, but it's just, you kind of raised the flag of, all right, I feel like we should be making more based on the numbers I'm seeing in the account. And so that's how it all started.
Yeah, because we have, we started out with one bank account, then it grew into 2, then it grew into 4, 6. So we've kind of been able to isolate different stores and manage different things separately. So I can see, okay, is this account going up? Is this account going up? And I saw that one account was just not going up like it should. And yeah, after our conversation with Braden, that prompted a more thorough checkup of the account and every single in and out of the business. And it's no easy task when you have a business that does, $400,000 a month and hundreds of transactions. So how do we tackle it?
Well, one other thing I also want to add was that 2020 was quite a unique year in the fact that there were supply chain interruptions, and we had back orders and things like that, and situations where we're paying suppliers and they're going to ship it out later. We're reserving units of inventory and things like that. So that added another layer of complexity, I would say, to the whole thing.
Yeah, I would agree because, we had back order situations and refunds and yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I guess the majority of it came from refunds that we were supposed to get from the supplier that we had already given the customer. And so, Joe, let's talk about just that kind of observation you made as far as profit percentage when it comes to making a sale versus not getting refunded on a sale.
Ah, yes. Well, think about this. If you make, I don't have the numbers in front of me, I gotta like visualize it. So if you make $100,000 worth of sales, and say you have a 15% margin, just maybe 20%, that means you're making $20,000. But if you're getting $20,000 in refunds and you don't get those refunds back in a given month, like the supplier doesn't, you've paid the supplier and they don't pay you, that essentially means you've lost almost what you've made.
Yeah, that means you've broken even. But the point is that it's so over leveraged in the other direction, where it takes you $100,000 of revenue to make $20,000. All it takes is $20,000 in lost refunds for you to lose $20,000 because you're losing 100%.
Yes.
And that's the problem, is that, if your profit margin is 30%, if it's 20%, if it's 10%, then you only have so much ground that you can cover on an initial sale. But every time you lose out on one of those, it's basically like one step forward, you lose a refund, 10 steps back.
Absolutely.
And so every single refund that you don't catch is having a detrimental effect on your business. And I think we had been naive to this idea before, because we had assumed that, these suppliers were more put together businesses. They're legit businesses. We're just these lowly little drop shippers. Like, they'll be taking care of their finances, of course, sure. But you come to find out, Joe, much like growing up into an adult, that no one really knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah. And Mohammed actually left a question in the chat. But why wouldn't the supplier refund you if you have this written out in the contract? It's just a mistake. It's just like Mike said, they're not the competent, their business is not running on automation. They have people issuing out us refunds, and then they forgot to press the button. So
yeah.
That said, we are getting this money back now. We are recouping these funds. We're getting checks in the mail left and right from missing refunds, but we've only gone back to, what was it, April, May, June? Those are the only months of 2020 that we've done. We haven't analyzed every year we've been in business. So we could have money sitting on the table going back quite a long time.
Could be hundreds of thousands. But
well, I don't think it's that, because since 2020 was such an increase, I feel like we had some of our biggest months in 2020. I feel like maybe the bigger the months, the more missing refunds you can have. So that's what I'm hoping.
yeah, I mean, I guess just the more orders you have, the more percentage there is of something getting lost in the mix, especially when you have more back orders too.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it comes when, because of these supply chain issues, suppliers are holding back orders, and then customers don't want to wait. And then we fund the customer. We tell the supplier to refund us, and they just don't do it. But it's just not a feasible thing to wait for a refund to post before you refund the customer. It's just not good service. And yeah, I mean, you should expect your supplier to be competent and, refund you. And it's not necessarily a total lack of competence. It's just, they're probably in the same boat. They have a bunch of orders they have to get out. They're dealing with the supply chain issues head on. And so, I don't know exactly how it works when you actually are managing inventory and how that could happen, but it happens. And, I'm curious, Joe, to dive in on more of our businesses and see exactly, what we can find in the trash per se.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, you think about like when the government like passes like bills and stuff, or like when what do they call it? They call it like trimming the fat or something, where it's like, or I don't know, some sort of weird phrase, but it's like you have so much, as the numbers get bigger, the amount of things you can find that can result in big numbers get bigger. So it's kind of similar to like conversion rate optimization in a way, where it's like if you're getting millions and millions of visitors and you tweak it and improve something 1%, you're going to see a big increase. Where it's like when you're getting, millions of dollars in orders and you find you have 5% of your refunds are missing, it's going to be a big number. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things like the bigger you get, the more of a problem or a potential problem that it can become.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if it happens, on 1% of your total revenue, if you're only doing, 500,000 in a year, that's only $5,000. I mean, it's not a huge number in the general grand scheme of things. But then once you're doing $5 million, it becomes $50,000 that you've lost. $50,000 is an average U.S. salary that you're basically just throwing in the what? Did I do the math wrong?
No. I was just gonna say no.
I think you said no.
No, I didn't.
You kind of cut off. My bad. But yeah, $50,000 is a whole salary, and yeah, while it's still 1% of $5 million, you could be using that money. That could be going to your kid's college fund. It could be going to your Lamborghini, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like dumpster diving at this point, Joe.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this makes me think of like that Seinfeld episode where, like, if you're like a big company, like some of our suppliers are big companies, and they probably have this stuff happen to them, like they probably there's missing funds and whatever, and they just write it off. They just write it off, and Jeremy's like, you don't even know what a write off is, but they do. And they're the ones writing it off.
Well, Joe, how are they writing it off? Is it because when the accountants inside the business do the financials at the end of the year, it's just like lost in versus out? And so since
it's probably like missing.
It never technically came in.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not paying taxes on it.
Exactly. And I mean, the same thing would happen to us because, if we're not seeing the refund, then it's going to make our what's it called? It's going to make our cost of goods higher total for the year because it wasn't deducted from the cost of goods.
Yes. I'm still not fully on par with you as far as how that all works.
So we're the ones writing it off.
Yeah, nothing like just writing stuff off for no reason. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? These are, we talk with people, and they have these issues where they haven't made a sale yet, or they haven't made, profit yet, and so I consider this to be one of the good problems that you can have, Joe. Right? Because we could be having financial problems, but this is more of a
absolutely
financial thorn in our side.
By the way, I'm noticing a really bad echo.
Just now?
Yeah. Maybe it'll go away.
I didn't change anything. It's still
yeah, I don't know.
Let us know if you hear the echo or if it goes away.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, Anyway, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. What were we talking about?
Saying how we could be broke, but it's more of just a financial pain in the ass.
Oh right, we were talking about new people starting. Okay, cool. The echo went away. So yeah, actually, it's kind of funny is that what I don't want to convey in this episode, it's echoing again. What I don't want to convey is that if you're new, you should be thinking about this because you shouldn't. A lot of people like to put the cart before the horse, as they say, and they're worried about all these problems before they get started. And this happens all the time with our students. And we do these episodes kind of like, it's supposed to be educational, but a lot of people can kind of take it the wrong way.
Yeah. Even though we may seem emotional about this and like doom and gloomy, maybe. I mean, I'm not really at all. Obviously, as Joe said, we did better than ever this year, and it's just a problem that's going to happen. And you got to ask yourself, would you rather be running into a situation where you accidentally lost $50,000 because you had so much other money coming in? Or would you rather be in a situation where, you're struggling to get $10,000? So, it's just when we talk about, the big financial companies and how they just write off the lost money, it's because they're already making so much money that they don't even care. But we care, but we should be recovering those funds. So it's just I think we like to talk about real situations that happen to us and show that this is not all Lamborghinis and Shopify screenshots. It can sometimes be a huge mess to clean up, and we've certainly created a huge mess for ourselves.
Absolutely. Dad texted me. I still hear the echo, but I don't hear it anymore.
I don't know what to say.
You got to get a good. You got to get a good pair of headphones. I think that's the issue here. Is if I'm coming through your.
I don't like it.
But that's what you have to do to be a podcaster, Mike.
I don't like it because I feel like it's not I feel like I'm talking on the phone if I'm wearing headphones. Versus this, I feel like I'm having a conversation because I just hear it in the ether.
You know what's funny is I prefer wearing headphones, like even if there's nothing coming in through the headphones. I'm being serious. I'm not even.
I'm not gonna say what I think. But I think the reasoning for that is.
No, it's nice. Anyway, where were we?
I don't know where we are anymore. But if anyone has questions about anything dropshipping related or anything related, then you know where we are.
We can use this slight. We can use this slight awkward pause to say, go join our free web class, buildassetsonline.com/playbook. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right there on the screen. We're going to show you how to go from 0 to $1 million in online assets for free in our new web class, buildassetsonline.com/playbook.
That was a good plug, Joe.
Yeah. Mr. Flat Life. Who is this? I feel like that's someone I know. Mohammed said, what was your total refund percentage for 2020?
I couldn't say. It's a hard number to hit us with. That's a hard question to hit us with. I don't keep percentages and stuff in my back pocket, but maybe
1 or 2%? Higher?
Oh, I was gonna say more like 10%. I don't know.
Oh, probably just for 2020, just because of back orders and stuff.
Any number that I give, I think 10% is a solid number.
So on our favorite store, we have 10% refunds.
No, you're right. You're right. Let me get a hard number.
All right.
You can keep going on the chat.
Be careful. People might be able to see the store URL through your pupils. Paul L says, is it a new class? Did you say yes? buildassetsonline.com/playbook. Register for our new free web class.
Yes, Joe sits down and tells you a lot of things.
Did you guys ever consider accepting crypto for payment on your websites? I feel like we were talking about that privately. I think I asked you that.
They are looking through our pupils.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'll wear glasses for the call. I won't wear headphones. And Joe, I was right.
You were right?
10%.
Okay, well,
last year.
Well, let me ask you a question.
It's probably, yeah.
I don't think those are probably not all refunds per se. A lot of those are maybe thrown in there with cancellations, like people order and then they cancel it before it's even shipped out.
It could be a return. It could be a cancellation. Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I mean, I would want to know exactly what you define as a refund, Mohammed, versus what we're defining as a refund. Yeah. But in the end, it's like, it doesn't really matter, especially if you're not capturing the payment, because it's not even like you're losing the payment fee. Yeah.
I feel like my hands are getting fatter. Anyway.
That's because you're becoming a dad. That's what happens. You get dad hands.
David M says, did you ever consider accepting crypto for payment on your websites? So, no, but maybe we will in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Crypto is interesting to me.
I don't do that type of thing. That's your job. So if you want to put a Bitcoin payment option.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot enough to talk about crypto. Paul L says, "How's the UK store doing?" Well, if you're referring to the
Well, no, I,
yeah, if you're referring to the UK store that we were going to start on ourselves, that's not getting anywhere. But if you're referring to the UK store that we're partnered on, so it's brilliant.
yes, that'd be the best way to put it. Yeah, I don't know if you look at the screenshots on it, Joe, but
Oh,
not the
I
screenshot,
I look.
the live. Oh, okay, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy how you can take a store, really getting from 0 to like 80K, 70K is like the hardest part. And then after that, you can just get it to 150, 300, no problem.
yeah, and we're over the 100K per month now in pounds.
100 pounds, sorry. I still have trouble with that.
I was trying to do like a pound sign with my hands. But I guess this is more like the number pound. It's not like the currency. Anyway, this might be a silly question, but what happens to the items that are refunded? Does the customer ship it back?
We're more so talking about like back order issues, Maurice, not returns.
Yeah. Well, I think he's asking in
We're just
general.
getting Yeah. Well, so it depends how you want to play it. So it's your store. You're going to have your return policy, and it's going to say, we usually make it just to be whatever our suppliers say. So if the supplier is going to accept a refund after X amount of days, it can't be opened, and you got to pay for return shipping, then that's what our return policy is. So you could even break it down brand by brand in your return policy. But as we like on one store, for instance, as we get bigger, I'm being more lenient on returns because while they're a small percentage, like we were talking about before, as you get bigger, that number becomes just the return number just becomes bigger because you're so much bigger. So I am more lenient on returns these days because we're really going for a good customer experience, and we have a high return rate as well. So I'm not gonna play these games over $100, $200 with return shipping or whatever when we have who knows how much money in the friggin' toilet because of the issue that we're talking about now. So yeah, that's what I would say. Like, I don't think we ever really accepted a return for the first couple of years of our business, but now we're starting to, we'll get them back at a secure location.
Do you find that you have, because you're nice to people, or nice, and then we have, more liberal return policies, do you find that people will come back as well and become like a legitimate customer?
I'd have to look, but I think it just, I'm not the one handling the customer service. Like, I don't want to, again, I'm not going to nitpick over an extra $100 for a restocking fee if it's going to create hell for my customer service people. We're going to get a bad review. And in the end, I could just, get the item back, and I could resell it as, an open unit and make my money back. Right. So, just things you have to consider. But I think like this happened actually pretty recently. We had a customer, something was broken. We said, okay, ship it back. We'll pay for it. We'll give them a label, and it was kind of an urgent situation. So we said, all right, just we'll pay for everything to get it back, and we'll take care of it. But if you want one immediately, you have to order a new one, and that way we can get it out today, and you'll get it for when you need it, etc. Because otherwise you'll have 2 units, and we have no recourse if you screw us over. So we did that, shipped it back, and the guy left us a 5-star review. He got his he got his unit. We'll get this taken care of, and we'll resell it, and then it'll all be well.
Yeah. Mohammed asks, what's the best way to negotiate with suppliers in order to avoid these kinds of issues, refunds, chargebacks, etc., I don't think it's really about negotiating to deal with the types of problems that we're talking about. It's more about your own internal like bookkeeping. Like, are you keeping track of did you get that refund? Because again, it's not like the suppliers are. So for example, one of the things we had a $5,000 plus, I think it was $5,300 refund that we were due from a supplier that we haven't worked with in a while, and so they had actually given us a credit. So they're working on like a credit system, which was fine. I mean, we could do that. I mean, our UK store, they do that as well for some things. So we were on a credit system, but we hadn't placed an order with them for a while, and so they just had like a $5,300 credit that we needed to get back. So, it's not like we have to negotiate with them, although we did have to follow up with them a few times. It was just a matter of saying, hey, we noticed that we never got this credit. We never got this money back because it was a credit. Can you send it to us? So it's more about just keeping track yourself and having a process for, if you get a refunded order, where is it on your credit card? Is it showing up under refunds or is it not? You just got to match up the refunded orders on your credit card with the actual refunds that you're getting and make sure they reconcile.
Yeah, and that becomes a full-time job pretty quickly, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So at what stage do you feel like someone should consider hiring, I don't even know what you would call them, order reconciliation coordinator? I like making names for jobs,
Oof.
Joe. That's like part of the fun.
Yeah, look that up on Glassdoor. Or
Yeah.
the reconciliation coordinator. No, I think I don't know. I kind of feel like you should start maybe once you hit like the fifth. This is a lot lower than when we started. Maybe like the $50,000 mark.
Some people don't have any employees at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like it's not a terrible idea to just go through maybe once a quarter and do it yourself at that point. Just export all your credit card transactions, export all your orders, because it should be manageable at that point.
Yeah, that should only be like a few hundred transactions, right? So, a few hundred in, a few hundred out. And yeah, I mean, accounting it. Maybe you could hire someone just like freelance to do it. Once every.
Yeah, but I feel like the reason why, and we're kind of lucky in this way, the reason that it's being successful is so. Just so you guys know, I was the one coordinating all of this because I guess it's my job to handle the accounting stuff, and I knew I literally have no interaction with the store that we're talking about. So I've never communicated with the suppliers. I don't think I've ever logged into the email accounts, but the way I was able to coordinate all this and get the system going to where we have the VA doing it is because the VA is actually really good and she's able to reach out to the suppliers and do all the things. Like she already knew how to do she almost kind of, I mean, she was instrumental in implementing the system because she knew the processes of the store, I would say.
Yeah, you're right. She was already a VA in the store. So people ask us all the time. This is a really important point. They ask about hiring and like what position should they hire for? But I think that's not the right question to ask because you should just hire someone and teach them as much as you can and just they'll naturally fall into a role based on where you're at. And then once you're able to build up a bigger team, then it's like, you're right, Joe. If we wanted to hire someone and like get this done in a a start to finish fashion with hiring someone new, that would have been so much more stressful and so much more annoying because they're going to come in and they're not going to know anything. At least this person, they're doing one job. We can just easily slide them over to another job because they already know what the business is.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of hiring is that you just have someone there that understands what the business is and they can do whatever it is you need to do within the business.
Yeah, that's very, very important.
Or even if it's a new business, like as long because now we have VAs that they're doing something for like Josh, who maybe listen to this podcast. Thank you, Josh. He edits the podcast, and then I can contact him and say, "Hey, can you help me out with this totally unrelated thing?" And he goes, "Yeah." And now I have someone that I know can help me because they've done another job well. So it's really the biggest pain of hiring is getting that person through the door, qualifying them, and making sure that they're just a good worker. Like when it comes to VAs and doing things at the general level that we do them. And so once these people are through the door, they can do whatever. And James Schramko is a big proponent of that. He talks about just give whatever role you want, mate. Just make up roles.
Yeah.
So
Mike, I want to relate this back to something that we did this week. So, as some of you know, we're working diligently on growing our land selling business. And so we recently paid for consulting with someone that's, doing it much, much bigger than us. And I found it interesting how, like, almost how intuitive it was to her to have all these things. Like it's hard to communicate exactly what your business is doing and who is doing what. And I find the way that she was communicating to us, even though she was very helpful, and we're basing around a lot of stuff around what we talked to her about. I feel like it's similar to the way we communicate to our students, because we're not going to necessarily realize like the struggles that they have when they get to that $50,000 mark, because there's so many weird niche situations. And so that's why it's important for people to be in our membership, because when they reach that point, point where they run into a little roadblock or like a speed bump, we've probably been there before. So then they ask the question, oh, how should I structure this and structure this? And sometimes the answer is so simple. It's like, just have a VA do this. And that's kind of like it was like when we were talking to this woman about land. It was like, yeah, I just have a person do this, and then I use Airtable for this. But it's like you still have to go and implement that, and that's the hard part, really, is the implementation. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but in my head, it's interesting.
no, you're right, because whatever stage you're at and whatever you're doing in your business, it's usually a pretty unique situation. You're gonna have problems at $0. You're gonna have problems at $10,000. You're gonna have problems at 50,000. You're gonna have problems at 100,000, and it's all gonna depend on you, your skill set, your business, your niche, the suppliers you have. And so, yeah, you're right, Joe. Our membership is important because we can take all those things into consideration when we talk to you. Like, that's the most frustrating part of whenever we try and learn from people. When we were doing this ourselves and there was no build assets online, we were trying to just figure out what we were doing. We couldn't go and talk to someone who knew our business. We had to go to a million different places and kind of glean what they were saying and then distill it down into something that made sense for us and that we can actually execute on. And that's the hardest part. So, yeah, I mean, this is not, a blatant sales pitch, but that's why our membership is so great. That's why our students are having so much success, because there is finally someone that understands your business extremely well and can give you that pinpoint accurate advice as far as what you need to do at any stage.
Absolutely. And it is a blatant sales pitch. You should go sign you should go sign up. And it all starts with going to buildassetsonline.com/playbook and learning about our methods for building $1 million online asset portfolio.
Very nice.
All right. So do we have any more questions? I feel like we gotta prompt people to ask questions, because if we don't, then they just don't do it. Even though it's an open forum the whole time. This is the dropshipping town hall.
Yes. We're I feel like we're in Rome at the public square.
We are. Are you still using speaking of public square, what's that thing that was like popular last week or 2 weeks ago that you wanted an invite for?
Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is that still hot?
I'm tempted to start doing stuff on it. I think we should do stuff on it.
All right, let's do it.
It's really interesting, actually. I think you would actually like it because it's not. Um,
No, I
and
like the concept. I just don't have it yet.
I'll send you an invite. But I actually I hop on the Land podcast, or not the Land Clubhouse every Thursday
Yeah.
that Jill does. And yeah, it's kind of just like a nice social hangout type thing. Nothing is recorded. Um, it's just all audio based, and I think it's interesting.
So
I think
can you
it'll
do
be
it?
big.
Can you do it on the computer?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a real interesting concept, and I think it'll be it's kind of like an antidote to what goes on these days because now there's not as much, like you said, there's not as much Roman public forum type conversations that you can have. There's not as much things dedicated to long form audio, free flowing conversation, and this is kind of the first social media that is like that. Um, so yeah, just
Yeah, I like it.
interesting stuff.
I like it. Don't get me started on social media. I hate when I watched that documentary, the Social Dilemma. Did you see that?
I haven't watched it.
It was kind of weird because you should definitely watch it. It's kind of weird because
Yeah.
intuitively I like kind of knew. I mean I definitely knew everything that they were talking about, but they just put it in such a way where I was like, wow, like I never thought of it. Like I don't know, it was like I knew it, but it said it like I didn't know what the impacts of that could actually be. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and as things are happening, we often don't realize what the long term implications can be. But if you go years and years of just doing a certain behavior, it's bound to have some sort of result. So this is why it's good that we can hop on YouTube, have a conversation, and people can join and say things. But yeah, Clubhouse is good because like we can be talking, and then someone has a question, and they actually can hop on voice and like ask it and be in the speaker panel and stuff like that. It's kind of like almost like an updated AM radio for the 21st century.
So like, what's the most people you can have in a room?
A few thousand,
Oh wow,
I believe.
that many. Wow.
Yeah, when I was driving to Pittsburgh the other day, I saw, just randomly I saw Joe Rogan was on one. He was like in a room,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know he had it, and he didn't up until like that moment, and it was like packed. It was like 5,000 people in there, but it just you get these really interesting conversations that happen because you had like 10 people as like speakers. You had like Lex Friedman in there. You had Tim Dillon in there. You had this other comedian person. You had Eric Weinstein, whatever. They're all in the audio group having a conversation. So
So there's people that
uh,
could talk and people that like have to raise their hand or something.
yeah, you can raise your hand and then they can invite you to be like part of the speakers, and then at that point you can just talk. But yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, we should go on it. I like the no pre. But like, how do you know? Like, if we were on it, like, how would people know about us?
That's what I'm trying to figure out still. I don't know, but there's so many dumb friggin' entrepreneur things on there, man. That's part of my issue is that there's just it just seems like such generic, stupid stuff, like scale your business, and like who knows what the hell they're talking about, and they're like, I'm not gonna click in.
Yeah.
Whatever, they're not gonna have good advice for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
And that's
Although,
when you're newer, maybe you can get caught up in that type of stuff.
wait. Let me stop you right there.
Go.
Although I feel like when I like look at James Tramko's emails, like if we never saw him live, I would never like be interested in what he's like, because I feel like his like
100%.
content is stuff like that. Like if we never saw him live, I'd be like, what? I'm not opening this. Like I'm not looking at this. Like it's so generic. But actually, it's been really helpful.
Yeah, because we were able to kind of hear his content live. it had just a better impact. So I don't know, man. But Treasure Wuji, hello. Do we know Treasure Wuji?
Yeah, he's the Chinese guy that came on one time. Remember, we had the open Discord.
Yeah, I meant is he okay, he's not in the Discord though.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Has anybody used your instructions and roadmap for stuff like Skype coaching and other virtual services that is not necessarily physical product related?
Well,
What roadmap do we have?
I think he's talking about like basically have we taught people to sell things other than like drop shipping products, I think.
Oh, well, you have to consider, Mr. Wuji, is we teach what we teach because it's like something that people can use to get started if they don't have anything to coach people on. And that's like a big pet peeve I have is with part of the industry is that there are people trying to sell you on like be a coach, be a life coach, coach this, coach, be an expert on this. And I don't think people get very far with that because there's a lot that comes into having your own brand and learning everything from scratch, and people don't know who you are, and it's like such a difficult thing to get into. So no, what we teach is physically. It's literally about physical products, that business, how to start it, no inventory, no one cares who you are, and you can make money like that.
Yeah,
But
I will say though, I have been interested in teaching people. Like, so in order to teach you that, we would be drawing from our experiences from Build Assets Online, from creating this, and from all the courses that we've bought. And so that's what we'd be teaching you, everything we know from that, and then applying it to whatever you want, service you want to apply it to. But we don't have a system for that right now. But I am interested in doing that in the future for people. But like Mike said, it's not the easiest thing to do. Like if it's your first time and you just want to get financial freedom and make money, like I would not recommend it as your first thing.
yeah, because it's just we can have a whole episode about why it's not a good idea to do as like your first thing. But yeah, you can't really do the same approach that we do drop shipping with coaching because you can't go on Google and just take up space for life coach and expect to get results.
Yeah, I would say if
At
you're
least
gonna
from
do,
our understanding.
I would say if you were gonna do it, like it's more like you have to have a specific like specialty. Like I was gonna help someone that they specialized in like helping people get sober, and they were like certified. They did that as their job, and they wanted to have their own business around it, so they had legitimate lifetime expertise in that. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that difficult to just teach them everything we know from this and apply it to what they're doing, but we don't have like a program for that now.
But we are getting into more of like expert type business models. So like we've talked about on previous podcasts how we're doing like a content site that's focused around a particular game that requires, we had a partner with an expert on it. So yeah, that's something that's coming like down the line, but
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. So where we at? Muhammad
No,
might sound like a rookie question. What?
we're at well, Wayward is saying it's a great course so far. By the way, Hot Garbage for Life says guys showing wins today in our Discord, and then we missed
Nice.
we missed those, and then we'll some stuff about Clubhouse, and then Wayward says I'm in your course. Stuff that took me months to piece together is laid out right there, and I'm still going through it. I'm about to go right now, actually. And then Muhammad's question.
Cool. Might sound like a rookie question. Colin P. Do you guys find your products through Amazon and eBay only, or are there other platforms to find high ticket items? We don't use Amazon and eBay at all, so that there's not really it's not really a good place to find high ticket items because Amazon specializes in like really shippable smaller stuff. eBay I don't even know.
Well, he's implying. I'm 99% sure he's implying that we should. Oh wait, is he saying that we should ship through Amazon or eBay, like that form of drop
I think he
shipping?
means like product research.
Okay.
Like you find products to sell through Amazon and eBay, or are there other platforms to find high ticket items?
Yeah, no, we don't really use either.
Yeah. So we just find. I mean, there's plenty of millions and millions of websites online that are selling expensive high ticket items, and you can find the actual supplier for that item. Then you just go directly to them. But so we definitely don't use Amazon and eBay. Um, you can use Wayfair, you can use Hay Needle, you can use House, but like I said, there's a million other sites. Home Depot.
Yeah, and in theory, I mean, I think we don't teach this, but I'm just gonna say this now. In theory, I think Amazon could be an interesting place to do research because you can look at like weird products with terrible rankings that are not selling successfully on Amazon because they just require like another level of like customer support. So I've
Yeah,
always thought that was an interesting angle, but we don't really do it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and, there's a million ways to do things, but yeah, that's how we do it, and that is outlined in our course. But we have several podcasts on product research, so you may
Yeah,
want to check those out.
absolutely.
Treasure Wuji says, say I specialize in witchcraft for the sake of conversation, and I'm already making money in real life. Now I want to take it online because nobody is using Google ads in witchcraft. This is a very specific scenario. So you're gonna make a. You could do that. I think there's just a different. You could do it. There's obviously people use Google ads for non-physical things, including us. But I mean, yeah, you could buy the course, use the ads portion for that, but like it's not gonna. I don't know. Why don't you just make a Ouija board, and then you can sell that?
Yeah. Listen, if you want our help, I'm happy to like talk about an arrangement, even though we don't
Yeah,
specialize
yeah.
it. Just
Contact us.
send us an email. We can learn more about what you're doing, and we can still. I mean, in our Discord, we help people with stuff that's not drop shipping. So we're happy to. I'm happy to help with that. Just email us and let us know. Just go to buildassetonline.com and go to contact. But I think Google ads are probably like I don't think it's a great place to start for these like digital services. Because I feel like there's a layer of trust that you need to build, and you can't. You could see, it's
Exactly.
a longer journey because when you have a drop shipping store, you're already selling brands that are trusted. So it's a bit different.
And it's such like a bigger market of people that are buying physical things online, and it's just more understood
Yeah.
that you go online, you can buy a physical product, and they ship it to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's all I got, Joe.
Yeah. That's all I got too. We got
How do
a
we do?
pretty good. Buildassetsonline.com/playbook. Go check it out. We got to get off here. We got to make a quick. It's getting late. I want to make a quick.
Oh yeah,
I want to make a quick.
we got a hard stop.
I want to make a quick YouTube ad for the online asset playbook.